Philip, that would be.
Kaf. What is it? Kuf? Kuf. Sorry.
He said kuf, but
Kuf. Kuf. Aleph. One who touches the upper beam, the lower beam, the heddle, the reed, and the thread, which is placed upon purple wood, or a swatch that he does not intend to
well, it
leave
is.
tahu. Right? I'm sorry.
You said wood, but
Wool, purple wool, or a swatch that is not intended to leave there is tahu. One who touches the weft of the fabric, the standing warp, the double material which he placed upon purple wool, or a swatch that he tends to leave there is tame. One who touches the wool which is on the distaff or on the ashvaya is tahor. One who touches the whorl before he uncovers it is tame, and one who touches it after he uncovers it is tahor. One who touches the yoke, the crossbar, the collar, or the beam, even while they are in use, is tahor. One who touches the handle, the borek, or the guide is tame. And one who touches the metal ring, the coulters, the moldboards is tame. And Rabbi Yehuda rules Tahor regarding the coulters, since their purpose is only to increase the amount of dirt. One who touches the handles of a bow saw at either end is tame. One who touches the string, the band, the bridge, the dowels, the carpenter's press, or the bow-shaped handle of the auger is tahor. Rabbi Yehuda says also one who touches the frame of a great saw is tahor, and one who touches the bowstring or the bow the bow, even if it is stretched, is tahor. A mole trap is tahor, and Rabbi Yehuda says as long as it is set, it is considered connected. We did have a saw that was if you I think it was if you touch the points, you would tame, but if you touch the top part of it, you would tahor.
right.
Correct? Right. So we have the same thing here. If you touch the same thing, would it be the same thing here? If you touch the bottom,
Isn't it what we were just talking about, the great saw?
right, the big saw.
Right, that was Rabbi Yehuda says. Rabbi Yehuda says touching the outer frame, you'd be tahor, but the Chachamim disagree with him, and they say that that's part of the whole. That's basically the handle of the saw. It's just
Right.
one handle.
So if you touch the bottom of that saw where the points are, just like the other saw, you
Sure.
would be tummy. Right. Okay.
100%. That's the metal piece. That's
Right. Okay. Good.
okay. Shulchan or Vadufaki. Okay, so a Dulufki, sorry, a Dulufki. So a Dulufki is just like a table. It's just that it's instead of it being a large table that you sit and eat at, it's a little personal table that holds your drink or whatever.
Like a snack table kind
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly, a little snack table, something that's right inside there. Okay, now the thing with tables, they're wood. They don't have a receptacle. They're flat, but there's a tuma d'rabbanan on them. Okay, because they directly serve people and other objects that serve people. So they have a they have a rabbinic tuma on them. Okay. So just to, in case you suddenly pop up the question, hold on, but tables are flat. Yes, tables, but Rabbanan paskind a tuma d'rabbanan. Okay. Okay. So now, in Shinifchasu, they became reduced. Right? In other words, a leg broke, a portion of the top of the table broke off, reducing its usable area, or shechipan b'shayish. He covered them with marble. Now, marble is stone, and stone is always impervious to tumah.
Right.
But let's say if he covered the entire thing with stone, then it's for sure tower. The Chazal never, because stoneware is not as common as woodenware. Chazal never paskin the tumah onto stoneware. They said, forget it. That's just that's okay. Right. So the covering, but the covering didn't cover the entire surface. So in both of these cases, shir behem makom hanachas hakosas. So there's enough place left that the wooden surface exposed is enough for you to put your drink down. Tameim, that's still tamei.
Okay.
Rabbi Yehuda Omer makom hanachas chatichos. He says a drink is not enough to make it useful. Just make it. It's got to be enough to put your food down. Okay, and that's your shear for leaving for its remaining tamei. Okay. Shulchan shenitla achas miraglav. So you've got a little table and one of its legs is gone. Is that a table? No, that's not a table anymore. You can't, it can't stand. Okay, satahor. Nitla shnia. So it's a three-legged table, just by the way, the tripod table is. If the second leg was taken, well, of course it's tame. Nitla shnia. Nitla tahor, yes.
Tahor, right.
Of course it's tahor, yeah. Nitla hashlishis, did I say tame? Sorry. Nitla hashlishis, tame kasheyachshav alav. He says if you took away the third leg, so now all you've got is the surface. Mistama, it's tahor, unless the guy looks at it and says, "Look, that's a nice surface. I can carry on working with it. It's like a cutting board or whatever other surface for preparing food. It's back to being useful. It's not exactly its previous usage, so it doesn't automatically become tameh. But if somebody looks at it and says that's a cutting board, then immediately then his machshava turns it back into a kli to make it susceptible again. Rabbi Yossi Omer ein tzarich machshava v'chein hadulav ki, and he says that Rabbi Yossi says it's close enough to its original use that you don't even need a person to designate it, that it automatically becomes tameh again. And the same principle goes to a dulufki because it's just a table in small. Safsal shenital echad miroshav, a bench. So you got a simple bench. Now a simple bench, again, it's wooden flatware, but in this case it's made for people to sit on. So because it's made for people to sit on, it's automatically tameh for zav or for mishkav, and therefore it's tameh for all other purposes. Once something can become mishkav, it can take on any other kind of tumah.
It says here that a bench that has one of its ends is removed is tahor.
Yep, that's right. Once the feet are removed on one end, you can't sit on it because you're going to be falling over to the side.
Right.
Okay, nitzal hasheni tahor. If the other side is gone, and it also is tahor, because unlike the table, it's got the table, the surface, you could have mentally designated as something that you could prepare food on, but the bench, it's just lying on the ground. It's not a bench unless it's giving you some height to sit on. And then im yesh bo gova tefach tameh. However, if the seat is at least tefach high, then it is tameh. Now, not just when somebody thinks about it, but it automatically reverts to its original tameh because it was originally designated as a bench, and a tefach apparently is enough to give somebody some usable height to sit on, and therefore it automatically reverts to being susceptible. Shrafraf. Now, a shrafraf is a footstool. Okay, you sit on a chair and you put your feet up on the shrafraf. Right? Normally, it's got legs on it, or to give it a little bit of height. But in this case, shenitzal echad mirashav, one of its ends got broken off, so now it just falls down as like a little triangle. Is that useful as a footrest? Yes, that is still usable as a footrest. Your feet don't need to balance. Your feet just need somewhere to that you can put them up, and even without the legs, you can still use this as a footrest, so it remains tameh. And the same thing is going to go for the chair that's in front of a katedra, which is a sort of a special bridal chair. Okay, don't get confused. That diagram that you see on the next page is for the next Mishna.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it for our new Mishnahs today.
I have to run to the other room for 1 second. Just 30 seconds. We have Yuked Zion. No, Yuked Vav.
Yeah.
Regarding a bed that was tameh midras, if one long board broke and the other owner repaired it, it's still tameh midras. If the second long board broke and he repaired the bed, the tahor is tahor. It's far from midras tuma, but it's tameh due to contact with the midras hazav. If he did not manage to repair the first board before the second board broke, the bread is tahor. Regarding a leg of a bed that was tameh midras and one connected it to a bed, the entire bed becomes tameh midras. If the leg is removed, it is tameh midras, and the bed is tameh due to contact with the midras hazav. If the leg was tameh with 7-day tumah and one connected it to a bed, the entire bed becomes tameh with 7-day tumah. If the leg is removed, it's tameh with 7-day tumah, and the bed is tameh with evening tumah. If the leg was tummy with evening tumor and one connected to a bed, the entire bed becomes tummy with evening tumor. If the leg is removed, it is tummy with evening tumor and the bed is tahor. And the same rulings apply to it, the prongs of a pitchfork. Regarding tefillin, consisting of 4 utensils, if one separated the first compartment and then repaired it, it is tummy with corpse tumor, and the second applies to the second compartment, and the same applies to the third compartment. If he separated the fourth one, the tefillin is tahor from corpse tumor, but it is tummy with tumor due to contact with the tamei. If he went back to the first compartment and separated it and then repaired it, it's tummy due to contact. If the same applies to the second compartment, if you separated the third compartment, the entire filling is tahor because the fourth one is only tummy as a result of contact, and an object contaminated through contact with an avatuma cannot create tumor through contact with a utensil. Okay.
Okay. Next.
We have, chet sign. Regarding a sheretz that is found in the eye of an oven, or in the eye of a stove, or in the eye of a kupak, or from the inner edge and outward, the oven is tahor, and if it was in the air, even if an olive's volume of a corpse was in the eye, the oven is tahor, and if an opening of the tefach in the eye, everything is tummy. If a sheretz was found in the place for laying the wood, Rabbi Yehuda says from the outer edge and inward, the stove is tummy, but from the stage is safe from the inner edge and outward, the stove is tahor. Rabbi Yossi says from the point opposite where the pot is set and inward, the stove is tummy, and from the point opposite where the pot is set and outward, the stove is tahor. If the sheretz was found in the place where the bathhouse attendant sits, or in the place where the dyer sits, or the place where whose cooked olives sits, the stove is tahor. It is tummy only if the sheretz was found from the place where the pot covers up the opening and inward. If a pit that has a place in it for a pot to be set is tummy, and a pit of glassmakers, if it has a place or a tot to be set, it is tummy. The furnace of lime manufacturers, or of a furnace of glassmaker manufacturers, or a furnace where a potters is tahor. And the porner, if it has a rim, it is tummy. Rabbi Yehuda says if it has a stigios, it is tummy, and Rabbi Gamliel says if it has a thin lip, it is tummy.
Okay. So
why is it important that an olive cooker, he gives like more kashiva, so the person who cooks olives or presses olives?
yeah, they cook the. Well, I mean, they cook it to.
I'm saying we had in the Mishna I just read, or the place who cooks olives sit. Is that because olives are more kashiva's food, or?
No. Just a second. Let me see the context again.
It's on chet.
Give me a sec. Getting there.
Why do they make distinction?
Right, okay, so the place where people cook olives. So just take a look there. The large stoves were also used to cook dye as well as olives that are too hard to be pressed and must be cooked to extract the oil. These stoves were also equipped with a seat upon which the stoves operate would sit, similar to the bathhouse attendant's seat. The Mishnah teaches that the ruling, it will soon state, applies to a sheretz found beneath the seats of these types of stoves as well. So it's just the apparatus that was typically used for people who were cooking olives. So it's not with with the olives themselves. It's just that was how they used.
Okay, we have Rakin and we have Ket Aleph. One who consecrates his field at a time when the Yovel is not enforced, they say to him, you bid first. The owner gives him a fifth, whereas another person who does not give a fifth. There was a story of a person who consecrated his field because of the poor quality, and they said to him, you bid first. And he said, it is mine for an isser. Rabbi Yossi said, this one said nothing other than for an egg, for consecrated property may be redeemed with the money or with something worth money. He said to him, it is yours, and thus he found to have lost an isser, and his field was still his. If one said, it is mine for 10 selim, and one said for 20, and one said for 30, and one said for 40, and one said for 50. If the one who bid 50 retracted, they would secure money from his property up to 10 selim. If the one who bid 40 retracted, they would secure his property for up to 10 selim. If the one who bid 30 retracted, they secure his property for up to 10. And if the one who bid 20 retracted, they secure his property up to 10. If the one who bid 10 retracted, they sell it for its worth and collect the balances from the one who bid 10 selim. If the owner says for 20 and others say for 20, the owner gives given preference because he adds a fifth. If one said it is mine for 21, the owner must give 26. For 21, for 22, the owner must give 27. For 23, he must give 28. For 24, the owner must give 29. For 25, the owner must give 30. We do not add a fifth to the increment from this one's bid. If one said it is mine for 26, that the owner wished to give 31, and at dinner the owner is given preference, and if not, they say it is yours.
Yeah.
Okay. We go on to. Do you have to daven yet? You need to go daven?
I'm still, yeah, I'm pre.
Okay. Makos, base dollar. Whether they are exiled to the cities of refuge, the three which are beyond the Jordan, and to the three which are in the land of Canaan, as it said, you shall give 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and 3 cities that you have given to the land of Canaan. Until the 3 in the land of Israel are chosen, the 3 beyond the Jordan did not grant asylum, as it is said, they shall be for you 6 cities of refuge, and until all 6 of them together will grant asylum. A direct road shall prepare for them from one to the other, as it is said, thou shalt prepare the way and divide the borders of thy land into 3 parts, and provided them with 2 scholars, lest he kill them on the way, and they speak to him. But Meir says he also speaks for himself, as it is said, this is the word of the manslayer. Rabbi Yossi ben Yehuda says initially both the unwitting and the witting go immediately to the cities of refuge, where the court sends and brings them from there. And he who was condemned to death by the court was executed, and he who was not condemned to death was freed. He who was condemned to exile, they will restore his place, as it is said, and the congregation will restore him to a city of refuge. Whether anointed with the oil of anointing, whether robed with the increasing number of garments, or he has passed from his appointment, they bring back the manslayer. Rabbi Yehuda says even one anointed for battle brings back the manslayer. Therefore, the mothers of the priests provide them with food and clothing, so they will not pray for their sons to die. Once his sentence has been granted, the high priest dies if he is not exiled. If before his judgment is completed, the high priest died, they appointed another in his stead, and his judgment was afterward completed. He returns upon death of the second.
Right.
Okay. Hey. Gimel Hay. If an animal died, one may not remove it from its place. There was an incident in the answer of talking about the matter about Chala, which he had contracted tumor contamination. He entered the house of study and asked, it said to him, he may not move them from their place. We may not be counted initially for the meat of an animal on Yom Tov, but we may be counted for its meat prior to Yom Tov and slaughter and apportion it among ourselves. Rabbi Judah says a person may weigh meat against a utensil or against a chopper, but the sages say we will not use a scale at all. We may not sharpen knives on Yom Tov, but we may sharpen one against the other. A person may say to a butcher, weigh me out a dinner's worth of meat, but he may slaughter an animal and he may apportion the meat among themselves.
Okay.
Okay, last over here. Paya, Gimel. If a person plucks moist onions for the marketplace and he reserves dry ones for the storage time, he gives pay for those separately. And for those separately, and similarly in the case of beans, and similarly in the case of a vineyard. The person who thins gives him from what is left for what he is left, and the person who plucks from one place gives from what he remains for everything. Seed onions are liable to pay, but Rabbi Yossi exempts the rectangles of onions between vegetables. Rabbi Yossi says pay from each one, but the Chachamim say for one for all. And brothers who divided 2 payot, if they are partners if they are partners again, they give 1 payer. If 2 purchase a tree, they give 1 payer. If one purchases its north and 1 south, this gives payot and separately, and this one gives payer separately. If a person sells stems of trees in his field, he gives payer from each one. Rabbi Yehuda said when the owner of the field did not leave, but the owner of the field left, he gives payer for all. Okay, good.
And one more. You started one Mishna early.
Sorry.
As well.
Rabbi Eliezer says land of the area of a quarter is liable to pay up. Rabbi Yehuda says that which produces satayim. Rabbi Tarfon says 6 by 6 tefach. Rabbi Yehuda says Ben Betera says sufficient to reap and to repeat, and the law is according to his opinion. Rabbi Akiva says land of any size is liable to pay, and first fruits, and one can write on account it's prosable, and a purchase with property that has no security with money by a writ or by possession. Okay,
that's it.
Okay, I got in on time.
Right.
And you got off on time. Okay. Have a great day. Go well. Bye. Thank you.